Call Halam like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Perkakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone on who I learned this truth. Shalom to the brothers who pushing this gospel and truth with sincerity to the four corners of the earth to wake up the elect. And to the elect I say Shalom. Now in today's topic, it will be going into the so-called white man thinks his kingdom will last forever or continue forever and ever. He think Moab thinks that he's next up, and so on with Mogog, which is the Russians, and the so-called Chinese, which is Moab. They think that they're the next runners up to inherit the kingdom. But the Most High got them in a trick bag. As my elders will say. The Most High is deceiving them. He has hearkened their hearts and blinded them like how he did with Pharaoh. This is Psalms, the 49th chapter, 11th verse, and it reads, their inward parts thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So that's what I was just going into. So Esau, he thinks he's a god. And he basically thinks that his rulership will last for eternity. And he's gonna, and his next generation, he think his next generation will be up and coming to rule right after him. So it's like a continuing rulership of straight wickedness, pushing out all type of idolatries and wickedness of the imaginations. He's not going to rule forever. That's the point taken. This devil loves to name lands after their names. They love to name streets after their names. In Chicago, you have the street Cicero, which is named after Marcus Cicero. By the way, he's a Roman philosophy. So they tell you that this is modern day Rome. They take out the Rome. So you have Theodore Teddy Roosevelt, Salaki, on the street Roosevelt. When you get off the L, that street in Chicago, that's like the first street of downtown. Then you have Halsted. And Halsted is named after the two brothers, William Halsted and Caleb Halsted, which are bankers who basically invested into real estate after the first mayor, right? Which that mayor was something Ogden. I forgot the full name, but it's named after him as well. William Ogden. That's his name. He was the Chicago's first mayor. Ogden Park is named after him. You have Washington, D.C. Washington is named after George Washington, the president. Then you have D.C., the District of Columbia, named after another white man, right? What's his name? Christopher Columbus, right? Which he's a devil in itself, right? So all these places are named after these so-called white people, Salakia, right? And that's why the scriptures say they called their lands after their own names, Salakia. So them doing so, thinking their kingdom is going to last forever, is going to be destroyed. And how it's going to be destroyed? By Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, sending the angels, right, with their chariots, and their nuclear destruction is going to fall upon America. And it talks about that throughout the scriptures. And then the elect, the 144,000. And they're going to come and crash out as well. So you can read about that and plenty of scriptures with the nuclear weapon that's going to come down on this place and destroy it and leave it desolate. It talks about that. It talks about that in Isaiah the 34th chapter. The Zechariah the 14th chapter, the 12th verse. Actually, let's just get it. This is Zechariah the 14th verse, the 14th chapter, Salakia, 12th verse, and it reads, "And this shall be the plagues wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. The 12 tribes of Israel, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth." That is clearly nuclear destruction. That is a nuclear weapon dissolving skin, dissolving meat that's on a human's body. He said your eyes is going to be consumed away in their holes, and their tongue should consume away in their mouth, which is crazy. That's a scary sight. Yeah, it's just, that's a really scary, crazy sight to see. So you have the nuclear weapons that they talk about. What's that? And Revelations the 6th chapter. Actually, I'm going to get that as well. It's Revelations the 6th chapter, the 12th verse. And it reads, "And I, behold, when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood." Right, so they're talking about the nuclear weapons coming down and destroying this place, which is going to be a lot of nuclear weapons coming down and destroying this place that they call Babylon, which is modern day America. Because all these nations is going to turn on Esau, and they're going to point their weapons this way and destroy it. Right? And it says, "And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, as," he said, even as a fig tree casts her untimely figs when she is shaken at a mighty wind." So that's talking about all the people that worship these idols. Your stars, which is, what's that man's name? For instance, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, your Jay-Z's, your Lil Wayne's, right? Your Beyonce's, your Nicki Minaj's, all those stars, man. All those people you worship, those idols you worship, they're gonna get destroyed. And it said, "And the heaven departed as a scroll when it rolls together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their way." That's talking about the nuclear impact when you see mushroom clouds rise up after that impact. And that blast basically going to be moving mountains, destroying mountains and islands, splitting in half. Right? The scripture says it's going to be shaken to and from like a drunken. That's how powerful those nukes are. Those nuclear missiles created by Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Right? And then also you have the 144,000 that's going to rip you apart. And Obadiah. Actually, let's get that as well. So the spirit is like a whirlwind. Spirit is like the wind. This is Obadiah, 1st chapter, 18th verse. And it reads, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining in the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Because after slavery, you're gonna be destroyed. After 1,000 years of your hardcore bondage, you're gonna be obliterated. All the stuff that's going on with the Russians and China, and the thing that's going on in the Middle East, and Iran and the Saudi Arabia, all this stuff is ramping up for them to be destroyed, and for Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, to come back and rule what's rightfully his. Lord willing. I got another precept, and it reads, this is Amos 8:11, and it reads, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And it's verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and from to seek the Lord. They shall run to and from to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. Then shall they know that a prophet has been amongst them. Then they will know that a prophet had been amongst them. But it's going to be too late, because the world will be passed over. So there is going to be no runners up. Iran, Russia, Chinese, they are not the runners up. The world is going to be given over back into the righteous power, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is going to rule back over this world with a righteous iron. And there won't be no more wickedness. Wickedness won't be put to death. Wickedness will be put to death in those times. But that's all I have on that. Lord willing, till the next time, Shalom.